Yeah, but not the stuff that you're going through is pretty intense, and I think that you're handling it so amazing, and I think that so many people wouldn't handle it the way that you do. You're such a strong person. I just spoke to Chris Weidman. He said he would be in bed crying all day. Do you think that you would be able to go through the stress that Dan was going through and train, knowing like what you go through for training?
Nah, I'd be in bed all day crying. Yeah. I'd be, it's too much stress. I can't handle it. I'm a baby. But no, definitely not. I mean, there's so much stress, so much pressures that go along with fighting, and with what he was going through. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. So that's why I look at him like he's like amazing for what he did, and what he's doing. So.
Do you live near each other? So do you get to see him, your nephew, a lot?
Yeah, we live 10 minutes apart. So yes, I get to see Danny all the time. He's an amazing little kid. You know, he's so tough and handles the adversity. Just shrugs it off, basically.
But he is just this really fun little guy who, is learning new stuff every day, and physically he's a little, behind, but mentally, cognitively, he's incredible. He does sign language because he's not speaking yet. So he is learning sign language, and he picks it up so quickly. He's teaching us.
Who's teaching him sign language?
The nurses, Dan and Chris. Yes, yeah. He has physical therapy. They have OT come in. Dan and Chris will look up, simple words on the internet and that type of thing. And the nurses know some. So, but he teaches us, and he's even actually made up some signs for things that he wanted to communicate. Like tractor. He didn't know how to say tractor, and he came up with this really funny sign. This means tractor. I don't know why, but he's consistent with it, and we know what he means.
And how is your son doing?
He's doing well. We had a little hiccup just recently. He got an infection, and he's been in the hospital. He's there now, but he's starting to get better, and he's feeling much better. So.
Yeah. So he had an infection because he did have a kidney removed?
He had both kidneys removed in September. Okay. He had, they call it a med port put in because it was a hard stick and with IVs and stuff, and it just happened to get infected.
So they had to put on antibiotics?
Antibiotics and stuff. He'll be there for a couple more days, 2 weekends and stuff.
His white count is good?
Yeah, he's starting to get better. Everything's going back negative now, but it's just time making sure everything's good.
How's his spirits?
Getting better. He's actually yesterday he was pretty happy, almost back to himself.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to get back in the cage anytime soon, or right now that's not even
right now
priority for you?
I mean, obviously I'm thinking about it because it is part of my life. It's a huge part of my life, and I do have the desire to fight. I love stepping in the ring and putting it out there, but right now I'm trying to focus on Daniel because it's just getting so close to transplant time that a lot of it's doctors visits and stuff like that, and bring him in. So right now it's just going to be stay home dad. I don't know. I'm trying to train in between times, but it's what it is. If I don't get the time, it's not that big a deal right now.
So actually, who is the person who's giving the kidney transplant? It's an aunt. So is it your sister?
My sister.
How is she?
They would have taken her, but she's too old. She's a match also, but they were like, sorry.
When they looked at my sister and I, we were both a match, but she's 10 years younger than I am. And so she's an incredible person, and to her it's like, okay.
And it was a no-brainer for her.
Yeah.
No-brainer, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, she's...
just do what we have to do. So there's not even a second thought.
When is the procedure?
We're looking at the end of January right now. It all depends on right now what happens.
What's the recovery time
For transplant?
for the transplant?
They say around 2 weeks, I think it is. He'll be in the hospital for roughly 2 weeks and then come home. But never know.
And so, how often can you train if you have all this stuff going on? Are you able?
Yeah, certain times I can't train during the day. I'm able to. My son has nursing. We have home nursing care.
Is it 24 hours?
No, we have 16 hours.
Are you looking to try to get like a 24-hour care? Or?
No, I love the nurses. Some of them are our friends. It's just we like our time with our kids.
Mm-hmm. Do your parents help out too?
Yes, they do. We're actually with my parents right now at their house, just because my house isn't big enough for all his Danny's equipment and dialysis stuff. We have basically a whole room set up for his dialysis, just his boxes. We have boxes and boxes of stuff.
And Dan told me that they actually live with you right now?
Yes.
So what is it like? What's the routine like, the daily routine?
Well, it can get pretty hectic. I mean, it's a little crazy because he moved in, him and his wife, and now that they have Katie, so there's 2 of them, and he had 3 dogs, so of course they moved back, and we have 3 dogs, so you have 6 dogs, so that's a little crazy, but I mean, it's it's just awesome to see like Dan and Kristen how much they've adapted and how much they've learned. I mean, let me tell you a little story. Like the nurses that Dan takes Danny to the doctor pretty much all the time because Kristen teaches. So, but the nurses that do the care, they were like they were telling me one day, they're like, your son is amazing because most dads don't get involved with it. They stay away from it because it's just something that usually the moms take control of. And Dan really stepped up and took control of it. And I was telling him the story, which when he first came home, he had a feeding tube that you put down through the nose. Well, one day I come out into the dining room, and Dan is sitting there and he's trying to put a feeding tube in himself, and he's gagging, and he's like, well, I have to see what kind of pain I'm causing my son and what it feels like to do this. And it was just like, that's amazing that you would actually do that, but he wanted to know and understand because, I mean, Danny, it hurt him, so, but I mean, they're just amazing people.
Do you think that this brought you guys closer together and you've had other heartaches and other things happen in the past?
Yes, they lost our first granddaughter. They lost her. So that was tough.
Kristen had a normal pregnancy. There was no indication that, that first there was going to be any problems.
Right.
So we were completely blown away, all of us. So it does put things into perspective. I think that, little things that may have bothered us, before, like having 6 dogs here,
Right.
and the mess that they bring, you just kind of like, okay, well, we can deal with this.
Right. Life is too short to
Right.
appreciate every
It's
day
easy
that
to
you
deal
have.
with that, as to what you had to, what they had to go through. I mean, just to see them go through that was just
hardest thing.
heart-wrenching. I mean, they actually took their daughter to a different hospital. Alexis got taken to Morristown, and she was up in Newton. So, I mean, they weren't even together. And then to have to see him go back and tell her. I mean, just, it hurts. Sorry. But, I mean, you see the strength that they draw from it. And the strength that, the 2 of them have together is just amazing. I mean, it really is.
What happened with your daughter? Because I read that she passed away, but what happened?
She passed away just from complications from birth. She was actually septic when she was born. She had an infection. My wife had an infection, and she passed a couple hours after birth.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
How do you get through all this?
Support, support from my family and my wife, and just basically. Support for my family and love for my family.
I mean, I couldn't be prouder of all four of my children and how close they are to each other. I mean, it's amazing how, how they stick together, and it is good. I mean, that's what you raise them for. It's amazing to see that.
We have a lot of support from Kristen's family also. Kristen's mom is very involved with, everything that goes on with Danny.
So can you think back to any particular moment where you're like, I don't know if I can do this, or like where you had a fight where, was there anything that you thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this? Was there anything?
Multiple times. There's always bad days, and multiple times I've thought, just don't know if the fire is still there. But, kind of tried to persevere through it because this is the best way for me to make money for my family. So, again, we've been thinking about them and trying to move on and make money.
You are really such a, you have, you lost a child and then you have a child who's sick. Sorry.
It's okay.
So you're a really, really strong person. You have a great support system in your family and in your gym here.
Thank you.
I think people should definitely look up to you as a person and as a father and just as an individual, as a human being, because you're a really, really amazing person.
Thank you.
And I think I want to see you in Cage again. I want to see you fight. I want to see your son get better.
Yeah. Well, first I have to thank, being a strong person, I have to thank my wife. She's a huge support for me, and then my family, my father, my mother, all my siblings. They're amazing people. And, they really made me the person who I am, so I have to thank them. But
okay, and I'm going to put stuff on Kristen KO. I'm going to put as much information as possible because this is just such an important cause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kristen Brown, Dan Miller, thanks guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming. It means everything to us. Sorry. Everyone's generosity is, super overwhelming, and it's going to really help my son out. Thank you very much.